funny. Oh no! Why? It wasn't great today. So, will you stick that for me?
Yes. Have you got your bit of rubber, bit of paper?
It's just so expressive.
Oh, if
So
I'm
it's
if I'm
perfect.
anything, I'm expressive.
That's perfect. And actually, it is really good to see you going from,
Scared.
as we said, going from that not looking to
yeah.
suddenly looking.
Oh, okay.
You take your belt off for a minute, as if we have just literally started.
Yeah.
So, you right?
Yes.
Ready?
Yeah.
Having done a session before in that seat when you did your controls,
Yep.
and you're now back in that seat,
Yep.
slightly more comfortable despite not doing anything? Does
Yeah,
it...
I'm not scared of them today. Looking at me.
Good.
No, I'm not scared of them. No, it's fine.
Fab.
I'm going to be more observant today.
Well, that's what today's going to be about.
Yeah.
Jo. That's what today's going to be about. So this is about your view from the instructor seat.
Yep.
So everything that you need to be thinking about in terms of how you are sitting,
Yep.
what you look like, and where you are looking. So summed up with looking like an instructor, basically. Let me get my pieces of paper because it will be my prompt. So the view from the instructor seat. So again, just to keep me on track, these are the things that we will just make sure that we've covered and ticked off and that you're happy with. So we're going to look at your seat position, which I touched on a little bit yesterday, but we'll look at it in a bit more detail. Your view from the mirrors, and again we mentioned mirrors yesterday, but we've not gone in depth into your instructor mirrors. So the extra mirrors and the importance, because you pointed out the extra mirrors
Yep.
In our last session, some of which you're used to, some of which you're not.
Yep.
Your blind spots as an instructor, now obviously that's going to be very dependent on the car that you're teaching in, but we'll look at it in this car with the motive of the fact that you're just needing to look out for blind spots regardless of what car that you're getting into.
Yeah.
Okay? Your body position and how to be body aware, and then we're going to do some driving. And actually when we're driving, or I'm driving, we're going to readjust your judgment. So this is about you feeling like an instructor in terms of having had however many years of driving with experienced drivers, so being a passenger with partners or children or whoever it is that you've been driving with. You build up this internal picture of what's okay for somebody to do. And I would suggest that the majority of the time you've probably been a passenger that hasn't been particularly overly aware of what somebody else is doing or not doing, because you have that bit of trust that they're just going to do it. What you're going to find now is that you'll never ever ever get into the car again without being an instructor and having that tuned inness to what other people are doing and when they're doing it, why they're doing it, if they've done it with the same kind of judgment, for example, that you were doing. But consequently what happens is, because you've had these number of years of building up this internal picture of what somebody can and can't do when they're driving, if you were with a friend who was driving, full licence holder friend who was driving, and they got reasonably close to some parked cars because they were in a meeting situation they were going to squeeze through, you probably wouldn't give it a second thought, because you're thinking, well, they're an experienced driver, they've made those judgments reasonably. It was close, but it wasn't scarily close. The same distance being left by somebody who's had 12 hours is scarily close. And the biggest difference between those two is the fact that the person who's had 12 hours and is that close has done it without making an informed decision.
Yeah, just hadn't realised that they were that close.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So
it hasn't decided to go that close.
No.
It's
a fluke.
Just done it.
Had actually done no touching. You know, it's that kind of thing. So what might feel okay for you as just an experienced driver is not going to be okay for people to be doing and getting away with.
Yeah.
And that will be the same with any of those kind of judgment things. So too close, too far away, too fast, too slow, taking gaps that you and I might take, but it's not going to be all right for people to take, because by the time they've bunny hopped out of the junction and delayed their second gear and all that kind of a response that you would perhaps expect from a fairly novice driver, an experienced driver, you and I would have gas and gone, and nobody would be affected by us. So in terms of readjusting your judgment as to what you are going to accept, what you're going to what you're going to think, very happy about, so that little instructor alarm bell is going to ring, and therefore how that will then all link into your verbal commands. So at the point where you might choose to let a people go out of a junction, knowing that you're going to say gas, 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 and get them going, because it wasn't close enough to stop them, but it was close enough for you to need to verbally intervene. And we looked at in our last session, I think, didn't we, about not using dual control. So a situation there where a pupil has exited a junction or merged out of a junction, it's going to be close because of people coming. You don't put your foot on a dual control brake at that point, because the guy's going to hit you who's coming down the road. And actually that is your gas,
and
gas,
if we
gas.
just get a wriggle on, it'll be fine.
Yep. So we're going to go off and have a play with exploring readjusting your judgment. So we'll go passing parked vehicles, we'll go see if we have any cyclists that we can get a feel for, taking gaps at junctions and roundabouts, like we've just said, meeting situations, so whether you and I would have gone and whether people, we just wouldn't be expecting people to go. Speed choices in general, so how would people make speed choices, because that's quite interesting and involves your judgment having to alter for that. And particularly speed and approach to things, because that's your awareness and planning then coming in, and the people making a judgment of their speed and approach to things. So that's our little plan.
Cool.
So with that in mind, let's look at your seat and your seating position. Set yourself up, Jo, so that you feel like you can reach those pedals that you had an explore with in the last session. The rake of the seat is also okay for you.
Yes. Oh, where was... Oh, yes. My bottom was in the way, wasn't it? I think, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Okie dokie. Any other part of the seat that you're going to be thinking about needing to be adjusted? So you've got the forward or backwards notion.
Yeah.
You've got the rake of the seat.
Does this have a height?
Potentially the height.
Yeah.
So not that many passenger seats will pump up and
in
down.
my car it doesn't.
But there's something else that will move on the majority of cars that needs to be considered.
I don't know. What this?
Not quite yet. Something on your seat.
I don't know. Oh yes, of course.
Yeah, your head restraint.
That thing that I absolutely make sure every single time I get in the car that's...
I guess
that's
that
fine.
when you get into that side, not many people are getting into that side and changing the position. So when you pick up a people from their house, for example, and you're driving them to a place for them to take over the driving, they don't muck around with their seats.
No.
This is the seat you're going to get in and out of and in and out of, and this is the occupational hazard where you're constantly having to get your seat back into a position that feels like it's yours again.
Yeah.
Because every time a people gets out, they've mucked around with it. And it does take a while for you to think,
Yeah. You've touched my stuff.
and you just need to feel back at home again. You'll
Yeah.
know whether it's right or wrong. So not quite so much that seat. Once it's set up, it tends to be set up quite well for you. So yeah, your head restraint. Any idea what the purpose of your seat is? Might seem like a really silly question, but what's the purpose of a seat?
Is it to... So I've got somewhere to sit. Is it to keep me safe in the event of an emergency?
Yeah, you've got it, absolutely. There is a lot of consideration that goes into the design of a seat to keep you safe. Not just your head restraint, but the general paddedness and the shape of the seat and things. And of course the structure of how it's actually made, so it's not going to crumple or cause you any issue. But it's a big form of protection. But it won't protect you if you're not sitting in it the way you should be sitting in a seat.
Okay.
So the second that you're twisted somehow in your seat's not going to provide the right protection. And so this kind of brings us on to your seating position. So once you know that your chair is set up in a way that is going to be comfortable for you, so you can reach and see what you need to reach and see, you need to be very aware then about what you do with your body once it's in that seat, if you see what I mean. And you may hear or read lots of people saying that you need to be looking at your pupil. You may even hear or see people say that you need to be twisted in your seat. So, for example, I'm twisted in my seat now to look at you for various reasons, mostly rapport building, that kind of feeling. But can you imagine teaching in this kind of position to be able to look at people? Give me some disadvantages about potentially sitting slightly twisted.
Well, the seatbelt would be digging in my neck for a start. And yeah, if we were involved in an accident, I'm not in the position that the seat was designed for me to be in, and I can't
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
looking at the.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, that is not to say that you shouldn't be looking at your pupils. Of course, we need to be looking at our pupils. We need to be noticing our pupils, but there are various ways of noticing pupils, and that's one of the things that you're going to build up over the next 2 or 3 sessions as well. You don't have to be directly looking at people, which I guess brings us on to mirrors. So, you said that you were used to mirrors in your car. Are you used to both mirrors? Because I've got 2 mirrors.
Yes, because they're yours. That
So I've stuck them up for the part 2.
yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
So your middle mirror or your rear view mirror
Yep.
and your eye mirror.
Yep.
If I set myself up so that I know that I'm in the position that I need to be for driving, you then set up your mirrors just so that you can see as much of the behind the car as you can with your rear view,
Yep.
and your eye mirror so that you can see my face.
Don't have to move it much. That's good.
Yeah.
Fall off in my hand. Yeah, good.
Okay. And I know there's a little bit of controversy about eye mirrors and whether you should or you shouldn't use them. I'm not going to go into that too much in this session because I know that you know my feelings about them, and there
Yeah.
are some videos about instructor mirrors and why I'm pretty passionate about an eye mirror. Again, it's pretty controversial. You'll hear people say, don't use them, or you shouldn't use them. We'll see how you feel about it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Of course, it's your choice.
Mm.
So, those are your windscreen mirrors.
Yep.
Yesterday, you commented on the mirror that you're not so used to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Haven't seen one of those before, which is why I sort of kept doing this,
Just-
trying to look out of the.
The blind spot mirror.
Yeah.
Yep. So, when you look in the main mirror,
Yep.
what vision do you get?
Me. And the car.
Yeah, fab. Get used to that vision, because although it's a little bit alien and a little bit different for you, you need to get used to that vision so that you get an idea about when a pupil hasn't set their mirrors up right.
Oh, okay.
So there's an occasion where I look at the mirror and I think, I know those mirrors aren't right for you because I'm not seeing what I normally would see. And interestingly, they don't differ that much from pupil to pupil in terms of seating position. You'd think that they would, but it's not a massive difference. But you would certainly be continuing to see yourself in the side of the car.
Yeah.
When you look in the blind spot mirror, so I've
Yep.
chosen for various reasons to have the extra mirror on top of my door mirror. What do you see in that? And does that give you the kind of view that you would hope for with a left mirror?
Yes, I can see the car. You know, the edge of the car.
Little slither.
Yeah, and then the path and the verge and
Because it does angle, so you can move it.
yes, I can see the.
Yeah. Do you want to have a go at
Let's
moving it,
see.
or are you pretty happy with how it
No,
is?
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So I can see up to there, and I can see. Oh, okay. I can see quite a bit.
Some instructors choose to have a blind spot mirror on this mirror. I choose not to because I feel like it's so far away from where I'm sitting, I wouldn't be happy with what I was seeing or not seeing in that mirror. So, for example, as I'm sitting here and I'm looking in that mirror, it doesn't give me a view that I'd be happy with. I prefer to look with my eyes. And so I feel the same there, is that whatever I'm going to see there, I'm so conscious of what I might miss, I would be looking. And actually it's easier if you look for your blind spot now over your right shoulder. That's a pretty easy glance to be able to have.
Yeah.
So I think I prefer to be looking out of glass than I would a mirror, and that's just a choice. But you might find, depending on your car, etc., then you are happier having a blind spot mirror there. And the blind spot mirrors are for you. Yes, they can be useful for pupils, but when it comes to manoeuvres and things, people swear by them. But they're predominantly your mirrors. Okay. When you set up your middle mirror then, any issues with your vision from your middle mirror?
Well, I can only see in between this and whatever that is. Oh, that that one over there.
Okay. Made worse by the fact that the head restraint is currently up and higher, or do you think it would make any difference?
I don't know how low it would go. Sometimes I don't go. It doesn't look like it would go much lower anyway. But it's wide.
Do you want me to lower it and see if it makes a difference?
Yeah, go on then. Oh yeah, nice.
Any better?
That has made a difference. Oh, this one's still in the way, but
Yep. And it's interesting because most instructors love their driver instructor cars, but most instructors will say there will be one or two things that they would change. This, for me, is a big issue. I just think they're quite wide, I think. And I'm really aware that they block my vision. So with that in mind, have
they're
a
uncomfortable, aren't they? If you've had someone in the back, because they sit, they
they're
dig
a
in,
different angle,
don't they? So
yeah.
you even if you don't, you can't not use
No.
it, and no one gets out of a car and puts their headrest down.
No.
Yeah.
So when you look in your middle mirror,
Yep.
tell me what blind spots you're aware of. So what are you not seeing? Where are you not seeing?
I'm not seeing directly behind the car on this side. So I can see behind the car on that side, but then there's over there, out of that window.
Yeah. And that's all I want you to do, Therese, particularly when we're driving around, is for you to just begin to tune in to what you're not seeing and then what you are going to do about that. So the solutions about that. And actually I find that I probably pay more attention to my blind spot mirror in certain situations because it will give me a better view out the back sometimes than my middle mirror will, depending on their angle and what's going on. Particularly I find it useful when we're driving around a bend, and I will very deliberately have a good look in middle mirror and blind spot mirror because that will give me an image further around the bend, depending on which way we're going, than just my middle mirror alone. So I'll just put all the bits of the jigsaw together.
I have noticed that in my car, my left and right mirrors they must be deeper. They're deeper, I think, and or going down a hill. You can't see a lot at the top of that hill. Yeah,
absolutely.
so, yeah, noticed that.
As the pupil in your car, do I cause you any blind spots? Me personally?
Yeah, up there.
So in terms of if I was sitting in the seat like this,
Yeah.
what you then can't see because of me, what are your solutions there? What would you be potentially? Or? Yeah,
Or.
over.
But not touching it because I'm not allowed to.
What if I went like that?
Oh, that's better.
Yeah. So actually being in tandem almost with a pupil, so that as they move, you're moving and getting the glances that you need to glance. And again, that's something that we'll do when we're on the drive. You'll realise that perhaps you're looking in places, even between here, between head restraint and head, you'll see when we get to a junction more than you would forward and back. So those type of things. but just being aware of that. Apart from your head restraints then, is there any other parts of the car that you're aware of that could cause you in that seat to have blind spots? More so as the instructor than if you're in this side, do you think?
Less, I would think, because although I find mine that when I'm driving, that one gets in the way of roundabouts and stuff because people are coming from this way, and then if people are coming from this way, they're not over there, they're over there. So here I'm okay. So I would say that one's worse.
Yeah. And again, this is just a realisation that the blind spots that you have as an instructor are not the same blind spots that people have. And that actually that's something to be very aware of, that you might be getting a better vision than a pupil, or vice versa, in different situations. The classic one, and we may well come across it today, is a situation where your pupil is driving, they have a need to overtake or pass a large vehicle, for example, a bus stopped at a bus stop, and they can see and you can't. And it's those kind of situations where all of a sudden you've got a blind spot that's caused by your driving position, and what you're going to do about that. Okay, so...
Just wait. You're not going anywhere.
Wait for the bus.
I can't see. Oh, it's broken down.
So we'll look at that and how you can overcome these things. So back to your body position as the instructor. I guess this is the time in your training where I need to say to you, that's your space, this is my space, or your pupil space, and you don't encroach into a pupil space unless it's for safety critical things, of which we discovered when you did your control. So that includes things like leaning over to look at a speedo. So I don't know whether you can see the speedo in my car from your seat.
No.
Hence where I have my heads up control.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's giving me my speed on my windscreen. So being aware of even what you're doing with your body in terms of how you're looking and encroaching into somebody else's space. Right down to where your visual aids are, and just being super aware of almost like that visible wall, unless there is a physical safety critical reason to go in. Okay.
Yep.
So, what did I do with my piece of paper?
It's down there somewhere.
Is it?
Oh no, it's here. Oh, we're so observant, aren't we?
What's the lesson about? Okay, so your view in your main mirrors. Okay, so if you tune in, Joe, now to your middle mirror, have a look in your middle mirror, and you can compare it to your left one as well, but your middle mirror predominantly, and then over your right shoulder.
Yep.
Tell me what you're really aware that you're not seeing in your middle mirror that you can see if you moved your eyes. So not just over your right shoulder, but if you're looking behind as well, if you needed to look behind. So again, you just get an idea of how much twisting you may have to do in different situations.
Well, I can't see anything coming around that bend. But yeah, get a good old view out of the back window.
Absolutely. So to be aware of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's go for a drive. So I'm not going to do anything that we did in the dual control lesson in terms of asking you to physically intervene. There's going to be no physical intervention kind of stuff going on at all. So I'll be 100% responsible for the control of the car. So unless something happens to me, in which case do feel free to step in physically to control the car.
Don't do anything.
I'm not planning on.
That's okay.
I will take responsibility for the car.
Cool.
So, having done your own cockpit drill,
Yep.
you're going to be very aware of a pupil doing their cockpit drill. So in
Yeah.
your mind, you're sitting watching a new pupil get into the car and set themselves up.
Yeah.
A really key little thing that I do here is not set myself up until my pupils set themselves up.
Yeah.
2 reasons. 1, I don't want to prompt. I want them to be working out what they're going to be doing. 2, it means that I can just sit and take it in. And that might be the time that I'm doing the whole hellos and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just clocking that they are doing certain things. Right down to putting a seatbelt on. So, let go of your seatbelt, put it back again.
Yep.
Don't put it on
Until
I do.
yeah.
Again, 2 reasons for that. 1, it will stop you driving off without their seatbelt on. Okay. 2, it gives you an opportunity to check if their seatbelt isn't twisted. So just
okay.
to clock that there's
Yeah.
no twist, and you might even see a twist here. That might be the place that you see it, or classically on the lap bed.
Okay.
So you're just going to double check that there's no twists. Then you can put yours on. It's a really simple thing, but I'm going to make a point of it to the camera, is that as instructors watching this, don't put your seatbelt on till your pupil does. I've done it once. I've done it once where we've driven off when I've had a belt on and the pupil didn't have a belt on. And of course it doesn't take you very far before your car to start pinging. I just so happened to be being observed by 2 other instructors at the time.
Nice.
It's just like,
Great.
don't do that. It saves we will save the day.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Top tip.
absolutely. Let's go for a drive, and we'll just see what we come across, and we will see what you're noticing. Okay. So, if you were about to move off from the side of the road, where would you be looking?
I'm going to be looking.
Absolutely. Okay.
Forgot. Forgot we're supposed to be looking.
So you are literally going to be driving the car
Yeah.
mentally from
Yeah.
that seat.
Okay.
So last session you drove it physically.
Yeah.
This time you're going to be driving it mentally from that seat. Okay, so do the checks that you feel like you need to do while clocking the I am as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we just do a few junctions, Joe, where all I want you to do is to just tune into the type of mirror checks that you'll be doing as driver, so your MSPSL if you like,
Yep.
but from that seat. In situations like this, so how you would be checking a middle mirror and a right mirror, for example,
Yeah.
and you can see that because the right mirror is redundant to you,
Yes.
how much your middle mirror is going to be so important to be clocking, because that cyclist doesn't come from nowhere. The
No.
cyclist will have been there,
Yeah.
but you can see that as the pupil, I will be doing that check and move. You're having to do the check, 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 and let them move.
Oh, we've got that little hole in the road.
But that's where the puddle
That's
is.
fine.
So you can see that need to counteract your blindness, if you like,
Yeah.
has to come from your awareness being super hot. So for example, now, this is where you're clocking the car behind.
Yeah.
Me as a pupil might be doing it now.
Yeah.
That is 5, 6, 7, 10 seconds too late if you were doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're driving mentally from that seat, but making everything 8 steps further forward
Yeah.
than you would do if you were in this seat. And so that classic situation where you've had a pupil in a meeting situation like that
Yeah.
might have slowed down, correctly given the priority to the guy coming in the opposite direction. often your pupil may well have stopped or may take a while to get going.
Yeah.
And that's when the guy behind sees the opportunity to go for it.
Yeah.
So don't just presume that they're going to stay there. Okay, so having clocked him and checked that he's behaving, don't take it for granted that he will continue to do the right things.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a nice spot for a zebra crossing, just by the junction there.
Junctions.
Yep.
What's your vision like as the instructor? So knowing that I'm not going to kill you, how do you feel your ability to have a good look is?
Actually, the nearer the junction you get to it, the better the view, because of the angle of the car, because you've positioned your car like that.
So in that situation you were able to glance and glance and glance again.
Yeah.
In terms of how early you were able to do that, analyse that. Still quite late?
Yeah.
Later than me or earlier than me? So take this junction for example and think how early you can be looking compared to perhaps me who will mimic that kind of pupil.
Oh yeah, I can look earlier because you're looking to see where to stop.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've also got to do that as well.
Yeah.
I need eyes in the back of my head.
So having taken your eyes off the road to look right, which absolutely you needed to do because that's where your danger is coming from, what did you have to make sure that you were aware of before you did that?
That there was nothing there. Nothing in front of us.
Absolutely. So you've looked in front and you've looked to the right.
Yeah.
Which area has been neglected?
Oh, this area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bike area.
So in fact, what I now want you to do is clock how often I might come out of a junction and you haven't looked left. Okay. So as the instructor, did you have a really good look to the left before I did?
No.
Before I put the car there?
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing. Okay, so that's what you're going to look for.
It's really hard not to look in that big mirror as opposed to the little one on top.
However, if your middle mirror has been sufficient, and when I mean sufficient, and I think about myself, I probably am looking in my middle mirror more than I'm looking at the front, if I'm honest. I'm just constantly reviewing what's going on behind me.
Yeah.
There isn't a single possibility of you missing a bike then. So you're almost negating the reason to look in that little blind spot mirror.
Yeah.
Because you're so aware. There's no way you would have missed anybody coming up because you would have seen them at this point. So the point where we're slowing down for the pedestrian crossing, this is when I'm clocking whether there's going to be a cyclist that overtakes us, not at the point where I begin to move.
Yeah. Just to be super aware of what's going on around.
So tell me your thoughts now, sitting with instructor hat on, your thoughts about other people. So give me a general feeling about what it is that you're picking up, who you might be noticing, what
That white car behind us is very close. It feels very close.
Do you think he is, or he just feels very close because now you're super aware of your
probably
responsibilities?
super aware. Is it a true to life mirror? You know, it's not a.
It's true to what? Which one?
The middle mirror.
Yes, true to life.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pulled back a little bit now. He did seem quite close. Just on the alert the whole time.
So all I want you to do is just start commentating almost, to start talking about who you're aware of around. So for example, now, where's your biggest danger?
That car behind.
Lovely. Is he doing what you hope he is going to be
Yes.
doing? Fine. So that's the kind of thing that you're going to be thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's my biggest danger? Who's my biggest threat? Are they doing what I really hope that they need to be doing? They're doing what they should be doing based on what I'm doing in terms of, am I going to potentially do something that puts us more at risk, or is my driving generally under control, and as long as I don't go and do something rash like stopping at the mini roundabout when there wasn't anyone there,
Yeah.
is he doing what you think he should be doing?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And also just start noticing where your dangers are coming from. So tell me as an instructor where your next threat is.
Those people.
Lovely. And
The dog.
and
That junction.
lovely.
And this next junction.
So have a look at your ability to be able to have a look before I look.
Oh, okay, yep, nice. I can see that nice and early.
How about your glance to the left? How was that?
Oh, I forgot.
Okay. So that's what we'll just work on. Because I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going. It's
You're
clear
doing
to
it.
the right. I'm off.
Yeah.
So your ability to know exactly what's happening on that left.
Yeah.
Now obviously from a pupil's point of view, you're going to be encouraging the pupil to be making sure they're doing those classes as well. But you have to be ahead of it in terms of your own observations to know whether it's safe to let them
Yeah.
do something. So where are you going to be looking as we turn left?
All the way down the road.
So where's our biggest threat?
Oncoming vehicles because of
You've got it. Okay.
the vehicles that are parked on the right.
So you're going to have a really good early look into
Yeah.
that road, so that your mouth is ready to move,
Yeah.
or your feet are ready to move if they needed to. So same again, we'll just do a few lefts. Don't be frightened to move your body. So I'll be looking to the right now, Joe. Okay, and then glance to the left, and right again.
Yeah.
Okay. So actually, what you'll find is that your movements as an instructor
Yeah.
will be quicker because you're needing to get to more places, but you might repeat more than perhaps some people does. So have a little go at that in terms of look to your right now, and your left, right, and another glance to your right. That's where you're just, even that last, as we're almost halfway out,
Yeah.
you'll be surprised that because of the angle that you're at, because of the way that the car is moving, there are going to be occasions, particularly when we're emerging from junctions where we've got cars on either side of the road, you're not going to get a proper good look for that bike until we are halfway out.
Yeah.
And I'm really conscious of that second glance that the pupil almost doesn't have to do because it's in their line of vision because of the way the car is angled, but because I'll be slightly further back because of the car angle,
Yeah.
need to have that third or fourth glance. You might find looking to the left now is easier. So look to the left now and then right.
Because of that fence,
Mhm.
that blocked a lot of the left view.
Yep.
So felt like I almost had to be, much nearer the junction before it was even worth looking out that way. I was wasting a look.
Absolutely.
Wasting valuable seconds.
So, are you looking?
I'm looking. I'm in your way.
Can you see that it is really possible to get in a people's way?
So I've got to be conscious that I'm not in their way as well, because I know that they're going to do that. Okay.
And that's why the earlier you get to look, the better. And we're not necessarily focusing, again, for the point of the camera and for your own learning, we're not focusing necessarily about your ability to be noticing me at this point, because that will come in with your front identification and your awareness of the pupils. This is really just to get you to start thinking as the instructor about where your danger is.
Yeah.
Because we will talk about how much you influence by your own body language. So in other words, when you're looking, I'll be looking. But also that really important ability to know what the pupil has done. So there's no point in you looking to the left and missing the fact that I've looked to the right, or more importantly, I've not looked to the right because you were looking to the left.
Yeah.
So the ability to notice what I'm doing as well as doing what you're needing to do from a safety critical prevention point of view. And that's why I think that I can probably sum it up by basically saying your head will move quicker, more frequent glances than they perhaps would as the driver. And the proactiveness. The earlier you can be doing those things, the more your own brain has the time to be computing where the dangers are, potential dangers are. So did you get a better view that way, looking kind of behind my head?
Yes. Yeah. It's easier when you're turning left.
And these are all the type of things that you can be doing as a passenger in a car now. Not with pupils, but as with family members driving or friends driving. That just always being an instructor. From now on, you're the instructor.
No one to worry about at the moment. No one behind us. Right, people walking the road. You're going to have to pass these parked vehicles.
Well done. What's your next danger?
What that red car's doing, because it's got these brake lights. That blue car, sorry, it's got those brake lights on. So could he pull out? Still nothing behind us. What this white car's doing? Car beside. Oh, it's turning.
While he's got his brake lights on,
Yeah.
I'm not so concerned about him pulling out, because of course he's not going anywhere. His brake lights are on. However, what might my next train of thought be as an instructor? So there's somebody in it.
Yeah. Oh, open the door.
You got it.
Okay.
Or why is he stopped?
Oh, people, letting people out.
Or letting them
In.
So where are they coming from?
Crossing. Yeah.
Okay. So it's that kind of
Yeah. Why are they stopped? Where is everybody? Yeah.
So early looks.
Again, that left. The view wasn't great left, so I felt like I was wasting a look, waiting for the left to become visible. So then the vehicle ahead is waiting for us.
How do you know?
Because he pulled in nicely.
So this is where I'm also going to get you to start being an instructor. So you're sitting in that seat.
Yeah.
You are perceived as an instructor. It's fairly obvious we're in an instructor's car.
Yeah.
One of the things that I do give my pupils responsibility for really early on is saying thank you.
Okay.
Because I think it's a really nice thing to do. I think
Yeah.
they are the driver of the car. They should be acknowledging other road users that have pulled in,
Yeah.
despite the fact that priorities say that they should and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's still a friendly gesture, and there's not enough friendliness on the roads,
Yeah.
so it's a friendly gesture. And actually, I don't know whether you remember, but I remember learning to drive and feeling so grown up when I was allowed to say thank you. And how it felt when my instructor did that, and I just couldn't wait to be the one that did that, because that's what proper drivers do.
Yeah.
So I give responsibility for people to say thank you before I give responsibility for anything else. But I back it up, because I think that as a driver instructor, I have a professional reputation.
Yeah. Yeah, your name's written all over it,
Yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely.
They know
Absolutely.
who's teaching.
See that?
Yeah.
How aware of that situation were you in terms of how early?
Oh, and wasn't. I was keeping up an eye on what was behind us and to the side. Forgot to look out the front.
Absolutely. So for the sake of the camera, what we had happen was we're sitting at a roundabout. I had a gap, but the two cars that I'd been waiting for had stopped in the road that I was wanting to go down.
There was
one of them was turning
waiting,
right.
yes.
Yeah. So your absolute ability to just keep your eyes continuously moving and make no assumptions about your fellow road users. Back to my point about I would like you to also take responsibility for saying thank you.
Oh, okay.
So I'll say thank you, you can back me up.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're beginning to act like an instructor. So where will you be looking now?
Over there.
Absolutely.
And out the front.
Mm-hmm.
And everywhere. I need
Yeah.
a neck like an owl.
Uh-huh.
And make sure nothing's coming down that side of you. All the time looking out there. I wasn't so much worried about the middle mirror, because the car behind was stopped.
Okay. Where's your danger?
That man.
Where's your danger?
There's parked vehicles, so because we were crossing the lane, any vehicles that might be out there.
Okay, so anyone potentially overtaking me at the point where I wanted to. Okay.
Whereas I was looking for.
So the van that was parked at the side of the road, you said he was your danger. Give me a couple of other dangers that might come because of that van.
The man driving the van, delivering.
Where was he?
I don't know.
And that's the answer to the question, we don't know.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say
No,
you knew where he...
we don't know. Where is he?
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of question you're going to ask yourself, Joe. Delivery man, where is he?
Yeah.
Because if you're not asking that question, where is he? You're not looking for the answer.
No.
And that's where you're going to start thinking like an instructor.
Yeah. Our danger is all these people in a busy high street, crossing the road, parked vehicles on both sides, the vehicle ahead of us pulled onto our side of the road to park. Oh, there's a lady walked out. So much to look at, and I still haven't looked behind me for ages. It's a good job you are.
So, let's just take one of those factors. Let's take the parked vehicles.
Yeah.
Do parked vehicles with no one in them cause us a problem?
No, but they might come out. No, opening doors.
Okay.
People coming out of, walking between them to cross the road.
Okay. So take the opening doors thing. What
Yeah.
clues might you get that there's going to be a door that opens? pulled in front of you. So they'd parked up in front of you, saw them park.
Yeah.
Is that a clue that probably someone's about to
And
open the door?
yeah.
Yep. There, most of the time, there needs to be somebody in the car to open the door for the door to open.
Yeah.
So look for the person in the car rather than the car.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So if we go down the high street again, or up the high street again, I think this is really useful. I wouldn't be worried about this car if I didn't see the person in it.
Yeah.
So it's the person in the car
Oh, okay.
that is the thing that you're going to look out for, because cars like that one don't suddenly
No.
move most of the time.
No.
So I'm clocking these cars
Yeah.
now for people
Yeah.
or for lights. So if I'm seeing lights go off or on,
Yeah.
indicators,
Yeah.
somebody perhaps walking towards the car who unlocks the car, that often will make your indicators obviously flash potentially. So I'm thinking, where are they walking from? Where is that person who's getting in the car? So this car here that's parked here, I'm not concerned about it because it's got no one in it.
No.
But look at the car behind.
Oh, yes. Someone. Yeah. Hands
So
on
I'm-
steering. You
you've
can
got it.
see the hands on the steering wheel. Not
So
to mention
I'm
his
not
lights.
moving out now because I've made a decision about that.
Yeah.
And that's where you're looking as the instructor for where your biggest threat is going to be
Yeah.
coming
Oh,
from.
motorbike. Yeah, I think I've just been looking for the lump of metal that's the car, and not.
The clues.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is all about you looking for the clues.
Yeah. So yeah, that one's fine.
Problems that we're going to have around the corner?
On parked cars either side, it might mean that we have to cross lanes or someone else is crossing our lane. People crossing as well.
There was a couple walking up the high street.
Yeah.
The lady had been in the road. Okay, so the point where we passed her, she was on the pavement.
Yeah.
The point where she went out of my vision, she was walking in the road.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, we're going to come around the corner and there's going to be a lady walking in the road. So it's about that kind of looking ahead.
Yeah.
See the indicator on this
Yeah.
car here before he moved?
Yeah.
So that clue. Somebody's just walked behind the car that's got the boot up.
Yeah. You're like in Hercule Poirot. Or Miss Marple.
That'll be either.
Awful accent. Right, you stay there, Mr. Man. What I'm going to do is just not bring pupils to busy areas. And then we'll be fine.
So, start talking again.
Okay.
Tell us what you're thinking, what you're looking at.
So the vehicle ahead is indicating left, so he's out the way, that's fine. The man crossing the road slowly, not even aware that we're around, with a mask on. Zebra crossing, but no one crossing.
See what the lady did in the purple? Have a look in the rearview mirror.
Crossed.
She was pretty close to the zebra crossing.
Was she? She must have been close, wasn't she? Because she was already crossing when.
So it's not just clocking the zebra crossing, it's clocking the areas coming to
Yeah.
and from.
And way earlier than I noticed it. So, traffic lights. Vehicle ahead is stopping, obviously. Well, not stopping, slowing down. Brake lights. Oh, there's a cycle lane there, so possibly constable cycles about.
Use your windows. Joe, can you see the windows, the reflections of the windows?
Yes.
That's where I would see the pedestrian on this end of the road about to cross, because I wouldn't be able to see the pedestrian until now. So we didn't know the man was there,
No.
but you can see him in the window.
Yeah.
Okay, so same here. So you think about any reflections that you can see
Yeah.
here, for
Yeah.
people that are here,
They're there. I see.
and looking under vehicles. So there we go, that's it. Classic. I saw the white car moving because I saw the movement underneath the van.
The van. Still no van driver though. Right. Zebra crossing. No one anywhere near it. Not that will affect us. Junction on the right. That's all fine. People walking.
What are cyclists going to do when they come across
Bikes.
this lady?
Yeah.
Where might they go?
On the road. And they didn't, that's good. Another pedestrian crossing, people walking.
So which car is about to move, do you think? Which car did somebody just get into?
I didn't see.
It's a white car, there's not somebody in it. White van just shut its door. So that's what you're now looking
Yeah.
at. So
I did
scroll
notice that
down
man
there.
getting in the car down there.
So just glance down the side of the vehicle, so not paying attention to anything else.
Yeah.
Tell me what you're noticing.
Indicator.
Mhm.
Oh, he's turned it off. And brake lights. Indicator. Someone getting out. A car parked half on our lane. Car pulling out.
What clues do you get that somebody's going to pull out?
The car slightly moves.
Yeah,
Lights come on.
potentially. So look in your windows. This is where you'll see the bus coming before you see the bus.
Yeah.
Which will see you in a window. Yeah, you've got potential lights. You see the car move.
Yeah.
For the car to come out of a space, which directions will its wheels be pointing? Out. That is a really big clue to be picking up on. Just as we go past these parked cars,
Yeah.
look at the straightness of the wheels. The wheels that are sticking out
Yeah.
are the cars that I'm going to be a bit aware of.
Yeah.
Because quite often in a really tight parking space, people will have done a certain amount of dry steering or
Yeah.
edging forward and then stopping, and therefore wheels will be pointed at quite an angle to allow them to get out of the car parking space.
And it's not to run the dog over.
How predictable is that situation? So, one pedestrian coming into the road to pass another pedestrian. How much would you predict that?
What was, sorry?
How much would you predict one pedestrian coming into the road to pass another pedestrian?
Well, I didn't before COVID.
You got it. And actually, this is a new phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. People are
Endangering.
possibly even subconsciously
Yeah.
giving people a bit of space.
Yeah.
With that in mind, are you more conscious or less conscious of people walking towards you or people walking away from you on the pavement?
I suppose away, because if they do step out, they might not have seen you.
You got it. It's always the people with their back to me that I'm
Yeah.
more aware of. So really good look.
This is narrow. man walking the dog.
Well done.
Where's he? Not and that man, because they've got their back towards us. Dog walkers tend to, and he's got earphones
Well
in,
done.
so not able to hear. Likely.
So, beginning to feel like you are becoming a bit more kind of spider sensey. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, you turn a second exit right. Biggest danger here?
The roundabout. Oncoming vehicles. And it's the vision isn't great because of the brick wall. It's not. It wasn't a nice wide open
Absolutely.
roundabout. It was more of a junction. I bet it used to be. Well, they all used to be junctions.
So, over to you. Go up the high street again. Over to you to do some kind of general.
Noticing.
Yeah.
The man's crossing the road. Oh, and there's the same man and the dog still walking away from us.
Do you know, take note of that, because if you're doing circuits with a pupil and you see something, expect where it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's the classic where I can pass the bus and I know we're going to meet the bus
Yeah.
because that's where we're going to meet the bus as we go around again.
Yeah.
So don't miss those clues. So commentating specifically on the things that are just a little bit different. So yeah, we can see people walking, but they're not going to cause us a problem. If they're
No.
walking towards the hole in the railings,
Yeah.
yeah, we're going to comment on them.
Yeah.
Right? So anything that's going to cause us potential problem.
There's a vehicle doing a turn of the road.
Mm-hmm.
Someone getting out of their car. They may cross the road. People walking with their back towards us. That's on their side. Taxi. People getting in and out of taxis. Still haven't looked behind me for ages. There's a bike over there, but he looks all good. Crossing coming up. So, zebra crossing. Someone near it, but they're looking in a window, so could possibly just decide I'm going to cross. More cars going around the still parked van. Lights.
Use your windows. It can be really useful. See the reflections of cars coming.
Read all those signs as well, road signs. I haven't even looked at a road sign. I can't see anyone down there. All those pillars, those posts get in the way, don't they? Lamp posts.
This is where my vision is better than your vision, just by the slight angle.
Oh yeah.
But this is where you can see that as I go, you're going to have another glance.
Yes.
Because you don't get your best view
Yeah.
until.
And if I do this,
completed.
so I have, then I'm in your way. elderly gentleman, but he's not going to cross, so that's good. There's a lady walking very near the edge of the road, but didn't cross. There's a cyclist, but he's fiddling about on his phone, not riding, so he's not likely to go anywhere.
Now your danger.
All these oncoming vehicles and these people.
Absolutely.
Oh yes, thank you.
Absolutely, and that was predictable. Probably at least 15 seconds
Before I
you said all
noticed
the
it.
people.
Yeah. I was looking on my side.
So think, where have I told the people to go? I've told them to turn right. What are they going to do? Are they going to be able to turn right? No, because there's oncoming vehicles. So they're going to slow down and wait. I'm hoping they're going to slow down and wait.
Yeah.
How does that now mean that we're going to end up coinciding with the people who
With
are
the people that are
the road?
crossing. Yeah.
So this is what I'm meaning by those 4, 5, 6 steps ahead
Yeah.
of not what's happening now, but what has the potential to happen in 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. And it absolutely comes with experience. But
Good.
one has to start predicting that, or has to start practicing that
Yeah.
to be able to get better at the skill of prediction.
Yeah. So, lady walking a dog with her back towards us. Classic signs. But they're all good.
Yep.
She's all good. It's gonna be it could be a possible meeting situation. And the cars parked on both sides. But that was all good. Dog walkers, but they're walking towards us so they can see us. Junction coming up.
Well done.
It was nice to have that last little look, just to make sure.
100%.
So, possible meeting situation. Oh, there's a car indicating to turn right, and a man waiting behind a van. But we're turning off before them anyway. Good look down the
Well done.
road. It's weird just listening to the sound of my voice waffling on.
But again, this is one reason why I'm just going to really encourage you. I'm just letting you do it, because one of the biggest problems that PDIs have is making their mouths work.
Yeah.
And so actually, I just need your mouth to be working.
Yeah.
I really care what is coming
What you're
out.
saying.
Absolutely. So this is what I mean, Joe, about having a second glance. Now, can you see that actually your vision is better through the pavement and this side of the car, if you
Yeah.
like, than it is. So now we're looking between hedge and car,
Yeah.
not that side of the
And
silver
reflection
car.
in that
You
other
got it?
car.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's where you now have that second glance.
Yeah.
So this is what I mean about emerging out of junctions that have got parked cars that are blocking your vision.
Yeah. So we're having to go over to the other side of the road because of the parked vehicles. Junction coming up. The blossoms out. That's worth noting. So that Mini is parked not 10 metres from a junction, so any vehicles that are coming this way are going to be on our side of the road. So driveways, scooter, whatever it is. Skateboard.
is the age of the person significant?
Relevant, yes.
What way?
The younger, the more unpredictable, in theory.
Reasons for thinking that?
Their lack of road sense.
Possibly. Like a road experience, maybe.
Yeah, saying that, their reactions are quicker.
Maybe, absolutely.
So,
that's what saves them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. I think that on the whole, the ability to even know which direction one should be looking when one crosses the road may be fairly significant when you're young. However, you will see just as many examples of people who are older who do have road sense, who perhaps don't use it as a pedestrian for various reasons.
Yeah. They could be deaf.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't hear you approaching.
One would suggest, however, that people that are deaf probably do the best looking.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but absolutely, I think you're right. It's the people who are deaf temporarily because they have headphones in.
Yeah.
So in other words, they've not spent their whole lives finding coping strategies.
Yeah. I had seen all those people, but you were talking.
I would also suggest that the significance of the age of the person is because young people come in packs.
Oh, okay.
So my first thought when I saw her was,
where's her friends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not the things that you can see that are your concern, it's the things that you can't see.
Yeah.
And actually that's one of the questions I ask my pupils quite a lot, is what can't you see?
Can't see the oncoming vehicles.
Absolutely. So we're going to presume he's going to be there.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing, not what can you see, well I can see a bend. What can't you see? Well, I can't see something because of the bend.
Yeah.
That's when it begins to just make a little bit of noise.
Okay.
So what can't we see to the left of us?
Oncoming vehicles, people crossing.
Absolutely.
People crossing.
So while we're thinking that, we're looking for it.
Yeah.
We're ready for it.
Yeah. So there's a vehicle parked. Are people getting in, out? The door's open, so something's happening. But the door's shutting, so they may well pull out. And we're on the brow of a hill.
Back out with your middle mirror check. So this is where I just want to do up the high street and down the high street once, with you now bringing in your middle mirror that you're very conscious that has been
the missing link.
Hazard perception where you would click. So the point where you would click because of a potential developing hazard.
Oh yeah.
That's your middle mirror check.
Yeah. Also, there's a lady wasn't aware of us, and another lady that's stopping. Vehicles coming onto our side of the road because there's a parked vehicle. Zebra crossing, but no one walking towards it. Middle mirror. I'm going to say, every time I look in the middle mirror, I'm going to say, so there's people over there, but they are not looking in the window, so that's good. Mirror. Car stopping, that's good. Make sure there's no bikes or anything around us.
Hold on.
People. Person. Another buggy. Mirror. In fact, in this mirror, the blind spot mirror is more effective than in this position. We're all good. So the lorry pulling out. Is it going to stay on that side or our side? It's staying on that side, so that's good. Middle mirror. She's not looking, but she's still looking in the mirror, in the window. Oh, bike on our side. And they might have a friend that's following up behind them. Zebra crossing. Oh, that's all good. So there's a parked van, which means that we've got to go around it. There was a car pulling out from behind it. Didn't look in the mirror. I didn't look in the middle mirror. See what was behind us. So pedestrian crossing. People walking behind the vehicles that are parked. Down the side of there's lights coming up there, but that's fine. The mirror. He's not turning, but he could have been because of his tyres were slightly turned towards the centre of the road.
More issues with the cars that are facing us or the cars that are facing away from us?
Facing us, because their vision is restricted. They can't see us as well.
Absolutely.
So we're turning around a bend, and the man is going to wait for us or not? Yes, he is. He's walking away from us, but he's I would say middle mirror, but I didn't. But I have been looking at it a couple of times.
We'll do then. So we're going to go up the high street.
Yeah.
This time I want you to pay absolutely no attention to what's going on around you. I just want you to look in the eye mirror. And I want you to see how often I'm checking my mirrors.
Yeah.
And this is in no way going to be exaggerated. This is absolutely nothing like a pupil does.
Yeah.
But I'm an instructor, and whether I can help it or not, I'm going to do mirror checks. So I'm going to be doing middle and right mirror checks probably as often as I do it as an instructor from that seat.
Yeah.
And just say mirror. Don't just say middle mirror or right mirror. Just say mirror every time you see me. Check a mirror.
Yeah.
So don't pay any attention to anything else. And just tune in to how often I do it.
Mirror. 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 Hard not to look where I'm going. Mirror. 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 eyes must ache.
You just don't stop.
You don't.
Just
And
don't
even
stop.
and even if you're not looking in a mirror, you're just scanning the whole time. I thought I did that as a driver. Clearly not. I passed my hazard perception really high score as well. Ooh. You could tell from my reaction that I didn't clock them. But I bet you clocked them before I did.
Okay, so you get the idea.
Yeah.
And more importantly, you have talked. And that's really important. Let's do a bit of work on that judgment. So that now feeling what feels too fast, too slow, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So honestly, in that last hour that we've been driving,
Yeah.
has it felt fine to you in terms of my control, my awareness planning? You got no
Yes.
vibes that there was any issues?
No.
Okay. Yet, a lot of what I've done has been appropriate for me as an experienced driver. It wouldn't have been appropriate for them.
Yeah.
Yet you were comfortable.
Yeah.
So what we're going to go off and do now, there's no catching you out, that's not the idea. We're just going to go off and throw in a few things for you to just get a feel for. So that you begin to readjust that judgment. First thing I'm going to do is just check a camera. Oh, you can do that for me now, Joe. Do you want to just take this little paper out, turn it around, see if this little red light is working? So, sometimes I'm just going to drive normally, it's not going to be a problem. Sometimes I'm going to get too close to a parked car or too close to a curb, and I just want you to just say, oh, I don't like it, or something that just makes me aware that your little instructor alarm bell is ringing. Okay? And just readjust the judgment.
Yeah. Good job you did want to turn left.
I didn't, but I made a decision that I would.
It's a little bit near.
Clues do you get?
Look, we were really, really near.
So the visual clue.
Yeah.
Any other clues that you get that
All the noise of
Yeah.
picking up all the stones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. The kitty litter. Absolutely, that kind of gravelly type noise as you pick up that debris that accumulates in a gutter.
Yeah.
You might also get, I'll see whether I can demonstrate it, drain covers. I hear drain covers
okay.
going tuk, 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 tuk,
Yeah.
and that is a pretty sure sign that you're pretty close.
Yep.
Feel it?
Yeah. And going through puddles as well.
Mhm.
It was, it hasn't rained for ages, but there was a little puddle. That was a little bit near, but not too bad.
It was too near.
As an experienced driver,
Absolutely,
it was
yeah.
fine, I suppose.
Experienced driver is fine.
But yeah, a newbie, not. Yeah, that was. I would have. Had you not been you, I would have been reluctant to let you go because I hadn't had a good old look. But then I'll be in your way. Yeah, that's near.
Yeah. Feel it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So just road position in general, I'll just do. Okay, so just tuning into road position too near, too far.
Very close to that car.
Mhm. Yeah,
Oh, sorry, thank you.
yeah, too near.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
big steer to get out of that. And it prevent it. Oh no, I'm gonna say it prevented your vision.
Probably
of oncoming
prevented your
vehicle.
vision more than it prevented my
Yes.
vision. Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And also, like we said when we did the dual control session, people have gas on at that point.
Mm.
So what rescued me was my ability to steer quickly.
Yeah. Again, too near that vehicle. Too near the car. Too swervy.
Cutting in.
Is that what that's
Yeah.
called?
So cutting in close to
Yeah.
yeah, so compare that to this.
Yeah. Less swervy.
Feeling alright?
Yeah, as long as you know that that van was there.
So get a feel, Joe, for when it's alright.
Oh, I see what you mean. I thought you meant,
Yeah.
was I alright with you
Well,
pulling out
anything.
with that van?
But in terms
Would
of
be on your
what
side.
I was doing, did it feel like
Yeah.
it was under control?
Yeah.
So tune into when it's alright as well, because actually I had a big gap between me and that parked car.
Mm.
Far bigger than you'd think that you need.
Yeah.
But with a learner driver who is practicing creeping in that space,
Yeah.
absolutely need it.
You're very close to the bike. It's going uphill, so he's going even slower.
Tell me when it feels like I'm an appropriate distance.
Now. And he's wobbly. His little legs must be aching going up that hill. Oh, this is a nightmare junction. You can't see, I can't see. So oncoming vehicles in our So I'm looking in reflections of vans. Yeah, too near. Too near.
Thoughts now?
Where are they?
Got my road position.
Oh, too far over.
How close am I to these guys?
Yeah. That doesn't feel really close.
Yeah, I'm probably just as close as I was.
Really?
When you said, yeah. So in fact, let me change my direction so that you get a more experience of that side, because I wonder if that's the feeling of the altered side of the seat and you not being aware of this side.
Yeah. Oh, it feels like you're just going down the middle of the road, really.
Oh, I'm really close.
You really are close, aren't you? Yes.
Particularly as I'm coming to a bend as well.
Yeah.
Somebody coming round it. So again, just tune into that as well.
I was a little bit close to that. As an experienced driver, I suppose. But yeah, you're wandering over that side again. Now you're wandering over this side. Very close.
Feeling it?
Yeah, mind the pigeon. Yes, definitely feeling it.
Okie dokie. So, that's too close and too far away.
Yeah.
I'm going to do... See how you need that second glance to the right.
I forgot I was doing that.
It's always just worth doing it from now on. Just tune yourself
Yeah.
into it. Okay. Now let's do speed choices. So in terms of whether something feels too fast, too slow, or about right. And again, this is with your instructor hat on for a pupil who doesn't have road experience particularly. And just see whether it feels right, too slow